Hello, this is Roland. Today I want to talk about depression. Yes, depression. I made what I consider to be an excellent little video, a talk that I had about. I called it "Leave Your Blues Behind." I made it yesterday. I'm going to put a link underneath this video to it because it was very good. But I had an insight. We're talking about depression, unhappiness. We're also talking about negative thoughts, morbid thinking, worries, fears, anxieties. Okay? We're talking about those and dealing with those. And I'm going to look at it from a spiritual point of view. Okay? And here's the insight that I had. Last evening I was listening to my son. He was playing the piano. He was doing part of a four hands version of the fourth movement of Beethoven's Ninth Symphony, which has the famous Ode to Joy. A lot of people are familiar with the Ode to Joy. You hear it a lot. It's beautiful. It's very uplifting, very inspiring. Okay? So it'll lift your spirits. You know the term lift your spirits. So I thought about that and I said, people use various things to lift their spirits. Good music, for example, to lift their spirits. Going out to be with nature, to walk on the beach or to work in the garden. Getting together with other people. Some activity, some fun activity. Or helping someone. That's sure to lift your spirits. If you're sitting home, feeling blue, get out and help somebody else. Find somebody that needs help and help them. Guaranteed you'll feel better afterwards. Okay? It's just so many ways to lift your spirits. Taking a class, something to look forward to. Getting together with a friend and going out and having lunch. A lot of people go shopping. They go shopping to lift their spirits. Okay, well, all these things are good. There's no question. Getting exercise. Okay, exercise. So those are all good. Okay? But often more is needed. See? Or some people will read something nice. Or they'll look for inspiration. An inspiring verse. A Bible verse, for example. Okay? They want to hear somebody positive. Somebody reassuring or positive. Okay? Those are nice, but they're not enough. Not enough. Some people will meditate, but not with my meditation. We'll use some other kind of meditation. Maybe it's helpful, maybe not, but it's not enough. What is needed? You need something with more power. See, you need something more than just a verse to keep repeating a Bible verse. You need something more than just music coming through a speaker. See, something more than just some little activity. You need something more. And the reason is, here's what you need. So what do you need? You need to reestablish a connection with your Creator, who is your parent spirit. Okay? That's what you need to do. That's what's wrong. Then a lot of other things are wrong. You're full of a lot of resentment toward people. You resent people and resent yourself. Okay, there's that. But more than that, what is it? Where is it that? What's causing the negativity? What's causing the feeling blue, the feeling down? What is it? More often than not, is what's going on inside your head between your two ears. And what is going on inside your head between your two ears? It's something very negative. Okay, something negative. Now the question is, what is that source of that negative thing? Do you really want to think those thoughts? Okay, the answer is no. So if you don't really want to think them, why can't you control them at will? If they're your thoughts, why can't you simply stop them? Did you ever think about that? See? If they're your thoughts, why can't you control them at will? Well, the truth of the matter is, those negative thoughts, see, and I'm not trying to be, as I said, a couple of days ago in one of my talks, I'm not trying to be dramatic. See, I'm not trying to be scary, but I'm just stating a fact, and that is that those negative thoughts are from a negative dimension. They have an origin, and there's an intelligence behind them. Have you noticed? They're very clever in their cruelty, in their creative cruelty. They build you up to put you down. When they have you down, then they kick you when you're down. See? Now, right now, if you are suffering from very negative thoughts or doubts or worries or fears, then what happens is here's what you do. You tend to try to deal with them in a wrong way. You try to brush them under the carpet and pretend they're not there, but they're there anyway. Or you try to struggle with them. Okay? Or you try to pit a positive thought against a negative one, see? But you see what I mean? Our affirmations that we make are, well, they're kind of hollow things, aren't they? They're simply words. They're just, see, there's like the boy that cried wolf. You know what I mean? They're just words, that's all. You need more than that. So what you need is, in a nutshell, you need God's help. It's that simple. Even if you're not a Christian, even if you're not religious, even if you're not spiritual, okay, you're just a person. You have no idea let's say you have no idea whether God exists or not, you have no idea about anything, okay, but you are dealing with these negative thoughts that are really impinging upon your things, okay? Well, if you had an open mind and said, well, you know what, I really don't know. I don't know about God, don't know anything about that. But I do know that I could use some help, and so I have an open mind. Okay? Then here's what can happen. You can try the meditation that I have, which teaches you how to stand back from negative thoughts. See? Teaches you how to take a mental step back. So you're no longer lost into thought. And when you take a mental step back and observe the thought without resenting it, without struggling with it, without believing it, without doubting it, without believing it or disbelieving it, you just watch it. That's all. Just stand there and watch it. Watch the negative thoughts as if they were a bad movie. You know how, let's say it's 2 a.m. and you're laying on the couch and you're asleep, and then you wake up and there's some kind of an old movie on. 2 a.m. An old movie, and it's not a good movie. It's some kind of a B movie, and there it is in the distance, blaring away, and somehow you don't pay any attention to it. It's just not a good movie. It's not even credible, whatever's coming out of it. Well, you have to begin to look at those thoughts in the same way. They're just empty, useless thoughts. Okay, but there's an intelligence behind them that is tormenting. See? Because you're reacting and responding to them. So what you need to do is very simply learn not to respond to them. And the way to do that is to try the meditation that I have, okay? See if it works for you. Do you see that you need more than just a nice piece of music or a nice Bible verse to uplift your spirits? More than a meal or a visit with someone to uplift your spirits. You need something to help you to deal properly with those negative thoughts. You see, if you learn to stand back, see, then it puts you in a different space, a different level of consciousness. It brings you back to awareness. There's nothing weird or far out about it at all. As a matter of fact, when you come back to awareness, by stepping out of those negative thoughts, standing back from them and observing them without reacting to them, when you stand back from them and from emotions and just observe, you actually now have the kind of awareness that you, more like what you had when you were a little tiny child. Remember, before everything started to go wrong as you got older and older? What's weird really are the negative thoughts lost down there in the ersatz reality of your mind. It's not a reality at all. The imagination. See, the imagination is a no man's land. It's a no man's land where negative forces can make their approach, especially when you're resentful or if you take drugs or something. You see what I mean? That's also lets them in. But just being upset and especially resentful, then they approach. See, temptation is always there. It's another way of looking at it. It's always there. It's always there, as if it were crouching on your doorstep, just waiting for a chance to try to some shenanigan. Okay, it's always there. Okay, remember when Christ, very early in when he began his earthly career, I was going to say his earthly ministry. See, when he began it, he went into the desert to be tempted. And there was temptation to tempt him. There it was, see? So it's always there. Okay. Now, for him, temptations were different than for you. For you, the temptations will be, a lot of times they're negative. You know, you're no good. You know, the voices in your mind, they talk to you and say negative things. Okay? So you have to learn to just observe them remember I said, like a bad movie? Like a TV set blaring at the other end of the room, and it's just no longer credible. Nothing to pay attention to. It's in the distance. Okay? All right? So now you see, to uplift your spirits, you need to have a little help. Now the help comes from God. When you're not lost in those daydreams, those daymares, those fantasies, those delusions, those negativities, when you're not lost in them. Okay? They may still be there. The doubts may be there, the anxiety may be there, the fears are there, the negative thoughts are there. Okay, they're there they are. But remember, they're like a TV set blaring. But when you step back, you're actually stepping closer. You're stepping closer to God. See, God's power is in reality. See, God is in reality. Today we went over to the golf course to the driving range to hit a few balls, and we were passing by where they had some beautiful roses there, and I looked at those roses today, and I looked and I marveled at how absolutely beautiful they were. Right next to me, there they were, beautiful red ones and yellow ones. And they were just gorgeous, and I thought, God made them. He made those. He designed them. He thought them up. He made them happen. Absolutely amazing. Okay? So he is in reality. He made reality. The universe, the planets, the stars, the fish, the birds, the food that you eat, and he gave you life. Okay? Paul said, in him we live and move and have our being. So he's in reality. You want to get a little closer to him, okay? And to his truth, which is what you need. See, those thoughts lie to you. They lie to you. So then you step back from them. They're the ones that they bear no goodwill. See? They wish you no good. They deceive you. They trick you. So you step back from them. What you've been doing is hanging around with them. By struggling with them, by fighting them, by getting into them, by giving in to them. See what you've done? You got tired of struggling with them and you gave in to them. The answer is simply to stand back and observe them. And when you stand back, then in reality, God gives you the power. He gives you the power to hold them at bay. He will hold them at bay. And he will permit you to stand back from them and to watch them. He will permit you to do that. Okay? All right? That's all you need. You don't need anything more. You don't need any, people talk about miracles and all kinds of things. You don't need to part the Red Sea and turn water into wine. You don't need any of that. What you need is but it's very important. You need him to give to for you to stand back from them, and he lets you stand. He permits you to stand back, and he gives you the power to stand back and to observe them in his light, to just watch them and not to pay them any mind. They can't harm you. You give them power when you struggle with them. You give them power when you give in to them. Okay? So he gives you that power. That's all you need. See? Then you'd have it made in the shade. You'd live more in reality, less in that world of daydreams and daymares. Okay? All right. My name is Roland.